I made a mistake and bought the wrong markers, so in this video I'm going to share the difference between Winsor Newton Brush Markers versus Winsor Newton Watercolor Markers. Hey friends, I'm Sarah from Ensign Insights. Thank you so much for checking out this video. So I first bought the Winsor Newton Brush Markers, and then I realized these were the wrong ones. I had not tried them, but I have just heard that you can't use them for brush lettering, and so I decided it was a good time to try them and compare them to the watercolor markers. And you can see I am really struggling to get any kind of stroke. The nib is like a rubber, which is nice. I don't think it will fray on watercolor paper, but it doesn't mold into the paper very well, so it just stays this rubber weird shape. I really struggled with that a lot. So now, trying out the Winsor Newton watercolor markers, I had a lot more success. There's a fine tip on one side instead of the chisel tip like the brush marker. And then I started writing out brush because I was instantly in love. It's amazing for a brush marker. So then I fixed it and I wrote watercolor marker crossing out brush. These are such a nice brush tip. It's definitely deceiving that the brush marker is called brush marker and this one is not. And another interesting thing, the brush marker bleeds a lot and the watercolor marker doesn't. So now I decided I would try blending, because that's one thing that I've known about the watercolor markers, at least, that they blend really well. The brush marker is alcohol based, and so I really tried so hard to get any kind of blend out of these with water, and you just can't. I was able to get a really nice blend when I just used the two markers together, so that would be the purpose if you're coloring something, but with water, nothing. So I bought these brush markers from Michael's with the 60% off coupon. I think originally they were like $30 and I got them for around $13. And then when I went back to switch and get the watercolor markers, and this is online only, they don't have these in their store. So when I went back to get the watercolor markers, they were colors that I didn't really want. I wanted to pick specifically my colors, so I searched everywhere online to try and figure out a way to get the colors that I wanted for cheaper, because these are pretty expensive markers. They're like $8 individually on Amazon, and I finally did find in AliExpress they're only $5 and you don't really have to pay for shipping, and so I will link to that below. That's what I found to be the best way. I just got these two markers to see if I would like them, because I did not like the brush markers at all. And you can see here, this is exactly what I was looking for. This is just the fine tip because I'm worried that the brush tip will fray on watercolor paper, but the fine tip has a lot of ink and you can see it blends together with the markers itself, and it blends so well with water. So I am definitely a fan of these watercolor markers, and they are water-based, so that's why they can mix so well. And I was really surprised because they don't bleed through. This is just mixed media paper, and they didn't even bleed through. Some of my watercolors even bleed through this paper. So now I thought I would experiment with a little blending just with the fine tip, and I'm using my Pentel water brush, and it is blending so well. You can't even see where the original lines are. This is way better than any other marker that I have tried this technique with, because the line completely goes away. So I think the real downside to these markers is that they are so expensive and they are hard to find in store, and even online they're kind of tricky to find. So if you do see them anywhere, you should definitely get them. The brush tip is amazing and they blend so well as watercolor. If they weren't so expensive, I would probably buy all the colors. So I hope you enjoyed this little comparison. I couldn't find any comparisons between these two markers specifically. Everyone's comparing the Pro Marker versus the Brush Marker, but for letterers, I think a lot of us will think that the Brush Marker is the way to go, but it's not. Get the watercolor marker, you'll be much happier. Thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate every like and comment. Subscribe here, and I will see you next time.